every society maintains some institutions that defines rules. So role performance is very key in a society. Society must have role performance. There are some who will be leaders. There are some who will be what? Advisors. There are some who will be followers. There are some who will perform certain roles like supporters and so on and so forth. So basically, a society has different rules. There are some who play the role of elders. There are some who perform the role of women. All right. There are some who perform the role of young people and children. So there are definite roles assigned to them. So every society must have those kind of institutionalized rules. Am I right? Is the network better now or is it cracking?
It's better.
Better now.
Even your picture has improved, sir.
It's good.
All right. So I can continue, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, the third critical element of a society is communication. Communication. Because a society must be characterized by interaction. So there are defined network of communications and interactions in a society among its members. And this form of communications and interaction may take different forms. All right. How do you report each cases? How do you communicate to the elders? How do you communicate to the young people? How do you communicate to the leaders? How can leaders communicate to the followers? Must have defined. There must be information flow. Good thing, there are so many information experts among you there. So there must be information flow. Without information flow, society fails. Because one of the critical elements that defines society is that there must be a network of communication and interaction among members. So, in all of this now, can we now say that Nigerian society, right? Can we say Nigerian society? Am I right? Can we say that?
Yeah, a society. Well, yes, an alien society.
An alien society.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
Some of these characteristics are there, but there are also confusions within the society.
Okay. Now, somebody's like Chukwumeka.
Yes, Prof. Chukwumeke, yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. Nigeria is a society. I think by all standards, as you have enumerated, I think we can say that it is. But much later, I'm sure that we'll be talking about what are the downsides, or if you like, the challenges that societies have. And then that's where we will talk about the ailing part, the difficulties and challenges that societies have.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let me move further. Now that we have a concept of what society is all about, I don't want to look at other concepts like a nation, state, and so on. We're going to that later. But somebody's raising his hand again. Somebody's raising his or her hand. Who is that person? The name starts with A. Who is that person? I didn't see the name very well.
Maybe it's network, sir.
Is it network that is in the hand? Is it network that is raising the hand?
No, I think maybe he raised his hand and his network froze, sir.
Okay,
Ola, you wanted to say something?
All right, that's all right. Now, let's move further. Now, there are different classifications of societies. Some authors have classified society into 4, 5, so and so on. But the simple classification of society is typically 2. There we may have some sub-creek-up societies, but societies are broadly, let me use that word now. Societies are broadly classified into 2 categories. One is the fact that there are societies, we classify them as gaming shop societies. Gaming shop. You want the spelling?
Yes, Prof.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gaming shop society is a German word, G-E-I-M-E-I-N, then shop, S-H-A-F-T. Gaming shop societies. Gaming shop societies. Have you gotten that word?
Yes, sir.
Good. Gaming shop societies. And then we now have what we call the Gesellschaft Society. From G-E-I-S-E-L-L. Gesellschaft.
The network seems to be very difficult over here.
Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft Society. So we have the Gesellschaft Society and the Gesellschaft Society. So what are Gesellschaft societies? Now, a Gesellschaft society is a society that is characterized by low technology and crude form of communication. More or less, more of a traditional society. Right? So it is more or less a traditional setting of society that is characterized by low technology, crude form of production, homogeneity, the society is homogeneous. The society is homogeneous. And the society is subsistent in production. The society is subsistent in production. So we are right to cast our mind back to our villages. Take the typical village you have there, where there's no road network, where no electricity, all right, where the form of communication is directly by open mouth and on the sound system. where the form of production is the common hoe, no tractors, where the level of education is very low, all right, where that society believes in in the institution of what of witchcraft and superstition. All right. So these are some of the characteristics of those kind of society. In other words, it's a society that relies so much on nature for survival rather than technology and international communication. So such societies are classified as gaming shop societies. Do we have such societies in Nigeria? Do we have such societies in Nigeria?
We do, sir.
Yes, sir.
Plenty of it, sir.
Yes. My village.
Your
Yes.
village.
Yes, sir.
So your village falls under that category.
Yes, sir.
That means we need to go and rehabilitate that village. So if in the 21st century we still have villages, we still have societies like that, it means that we have to do a lot of work, isn't it? It defines our leadership capacity. It therefore defines
Yes,
our developmental level. So if in the 21st century we still witness this kind of societies in Nigeria, it means we have a lot of work to do, isn't it? Is that the reason why many of you run to Abuja and other big cities of Nigeria to stay?
Yes, sir.
That's part of the reasons, sir. Major reasons why we have to relocate, move from one place to another.
As philosophers, is that what we're supposed to do? You're supposed to impact meaningfully into the society. You run away, so who will develop the place? Adam?
If government put infrastructures in place, we will definitely stay back.
Adamu,
Prof, we need to also, Prof.
Adamu,
I think we need to.
Adamu.
Okay.
Yeah. Adamu, you are raising your hand. You are not talking. Okay. John, let me hear you out.
Okay, Prof, I think one of the reasons we came to town or we are in town is to learn some of these things so we can go back to the society, back to the village and be impactful. In the village, our scope may be limited.
So after this course, we'll push you to the villages, not to your village areas now. To go and
I'm already on my way, Prof. I'm already on my way.
Yeah, I'm very happy somebody is organizing something like this. Are you the one?
No, I'm not the one, Prof.
So somebody's organizing a very big program for his community in the village this next week. He has invited us and we are going there to see how we can add value to that society by way of developing peace network, developing initiating community programs there, which is very interesting. One of the students, I think he's doing his master's here with us. I'm sure he should be in this class now, or he has done his coursework. So he went back home, he initiated the project during the Easter break, and he's inviting us. We are all going there to help him, because when he saw some of these things that he analyzed society, his own society, he found out that society needs to be upgraded, no matter how small. It doesn't matter if you start with 1 inch, 1 cm. It doesn't matter when you start 1,000 naira. It's a step forward. So examine that society, and see that society, is it a gaming shop society, a A gameshare society is a society that are apparently backward. A gameshare society is a society that live between it and nature. Nature determines the lifestyle.
Prof, sir,
Right?
good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Mr. Ahmad online, sir. I've been
I
having
give the
difficulty.
opportunities. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes, I've been having difficulty over here to link up due to
All
network
right. Now,
problem.
now, now that you have answers, can you move forward?
Yes, sir. In response to whether there are communities that are gimmick society, I think these are mostly found in rural areas where most people believes in tradition and culture for survival, and uh, going contrary to the inherited culture and tradition of such society, they look at it like a taboo, and therefore we that are little bit exposed are
Yeah.
supposed to take advantage of such areas and see where we can come in and panabit some of those culture. Of course, you cannot take away culture from human. Any human that don't have a culture is more or less animal.
Yeah.
So the only thing I think is a little bit of modification of such culture to go in tandem with the global world vis-a-vis the Nigerian context, looking into industrialization, technology, and AI. We must not be left behind. And sometimes ignorance and illiteracy also has contributed a lot in making sure that people remain adamant to social changes. Uh, just a clear example, we just finished our Doba celebration, that is Hawan Doba, in one of
Yes.
the communities close to my domain. And after the Hawan Doba, the first class emir fell sick.
Mm.
And when investigation, when people begin to dig into the remote causes of the ailment, it was discovered that some traditionalists threw charms on him during that occasion. So he has to he has to deploy the royal stooge, the quack way of olden ways of doing things, to
Mm.
get himself back to his feet and thereby throw the other person to sick bed. So as I speak, the other one that threw the champ is now on the sick bed. The emir
Yeah.
has rise to his feet and subject the other one to sick bed. So there are a lot of instances like this that we just have to come in and modify some. Of course, we cannot do away with all. Today, even the China, India, they still adopt part of their tradition into the modern way of doing things. Thank you,
Yes.
Prof.
Thank you very much. Now, let me a quick one now before I give others the opportunity. As you can see, Usman and so addressing questions. But a quick one, let me correct this impression. If we remove the culture of the people, it means that there's no society now. We apparently look at some of the major elements of a society. I would say that the culture, the value of the people is what makes them a society. You're getting the point. But we can upgrade the values, we can upgrade the lifestyle, we can upgrade the thinking. I get the point. Before there were societies in Nigeria, particularly in the south area, where twins production was more or less a taboo, isn't it? Once a woman gives birth to twins, the twins are what? They are kids, isn't it? Now, but see that those values have been modified now and replay and held in esteem the issue of the value of life. So there are certain cultural and social and normative practices that apparently we can modify them so as to make life better for the people. All right. So let me hear somebody again. Owens. Owens.
Yes. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
Yeah. As much as it's very sad that we think killing of twins has stopped, it's still happening in FCT. Vice Heritage Home and Orphanage run by a pastor, it still takes in twins that have been poisoned by communities, and those communities, they actually kill the twins maybe if the mom dies as a result of childbirth, or and those children, when they are poisoned, the pastor is faced with trying to grapple for their lives. Some die and some don't survive. So it's still happening, Prof. Killing of twins in the FCT.
So what do we do? All we are trying to say, we try to understand this class of societies. We group them as German shafts, isn't it? And we identify the challenges of this kind of societies, and we're asking ourselves, what can we do? Am I right? Because as thinkers, as philosophers, as educators, as we claim, if you cannot add value to that society, you cannot add value to society. Hello, John. Can I call you later, Nicholas? Yeah. If we cannot add value to that, to humanity, it means we are just not pushing society forward. The role of acquiring education, the role of upgrading yourself, is for you to impact meaningfully to your society. Am I right? I just give an example of somebody who identified the impediment of his society and decided to mount a project, no matter how small it is. All right? So one step can take you to Rome, can take you to Jerusalem, can take you to Mecca. Right? But make an effort.
Yes, Prof. I want to come from a particular angle, Prof.
Yes, come to that angle. Let me see.
Yeah, this culture, the Jewish societies, I can also see societies that have moved a little away from there, but is still also not maybe out of there. Where with the advance of technology, like the communications, maybe mobile telephones, maybe internet, and some modalities have gotten to the societies, but you cannot talk of advanced infrastructure like good route network. So accessing the communities still remains difficult. And I don't know. So there could be societies that may be in between GMS and maybe, although you have not discussed the second one, maybe in between the first and the second. I look at my community honestly from within that. For example, it's a society where you can connect to internet, you can communicate on these things, and there are a lot of advanced things you can make. But good read that and this issue of developing society adding value. Yes, individuals can add value in infrastructural development, but there's a limit to what individuals can do at the individual level. The government factor has to come in, because if you are talking about advanced infrastructure, like putting a good road network, third road and what have you, it's beyond what an individual can do, not even a local government, in the context of Nigeria. So, yes, sir, this is just the contribution I want to add.
Now, within this context, let me make some few comments so that I give other people the opportunity. So many hands are up. Now, I want to understand this. When I say game shop societies, I'm saying that there are about 4 classifications of those game shops. But the point we're making here is that, look, there's something to do in our societies. If you're a member of society and you cannot impact meaningfully to that society, it means that you're not learned. It means that you have a low capacity. It means that you're not a thinker. it means that you're not a philosopher. That's what we're saying. Forget, we are coming to politics, we are coming to governance later. But here we are looking at you as a member of society who is a philosophical thinker, who has a high capacity, who is learned, who understands the basic rudiments of adding value to society. That's what we're saying. It's not about government here, but we're talking about members of the society, particularly somebody like you and I. That's the point we're raising now. No, sometimes the pitfalls is that we just say government.
Okay.
No,
I appreciate where you're coming from, Prof. I was just
no, don't leave government aside for now. We are coming to politics, governance.
I understand
saying,
now.
Look at you as a member of that society. What have you done? Have you been able to use your thinking faculties and logic to reason and analyze and look at the epistemological value and then analyze that society and see the gaps in that society? Because your role is to close certain gaps.
I understand the point now very well, Prof, that we are discussing the individual role as it relates to societies. I understand it very well.
But particularly you and me.
And I think as a person, we have been able to add value to our... Personally, I have done that to my community.
So, put that one, 2 more. Thank you very much. Let me hear to next person before I move. I have a lot to cover today. Let me take note of the fact that I have only 5 people in attendance. This is about the term of our semester. It means that about 20 people might not write exams in this course. Because I know I have about 65, 70 people. I end up having about 40 and the rest. I told you earlier, we are very strict about attendance. Many of you may not complete this course because of attendance, not because you're not. I can see a lot of participation going on. Quite okay, I appreciate that one. But let me sound it to you. We don't take attendance for granted. If you're not ready for it, you defer the course. Right? Please, even if you're going to be away, don't know you're going to be away, so we can make arrangement and have arrangement and arrange a class for you. So that you meet up with the basic requirements of our attendance. Right? Now, going further to that, let me introduce the second classification. The second classification is the Jason-Sharp society.
Sir, the spelling again, is it J or G?
G.
G.
G-E-I. G-E-I. S-E-L is double L apparently. S-E-L-L. The shaft.
Okay, thank you.
S-H-A-F-T. Jason-Sharp society. Now it's a German. Yeah, these are all German classifications. Now, what I say is that there are societies that can be classified that belong to this category. So many of them, most of them are post-colonial societies. And we are saying that these societies are characterized by modernities, improved technology, improved communication. But we are saying that these societies are equally individualistic. All right? Let me repeat again. Improve what? Modernity. Improve in transportation system. Improve in road network. Improve the communication services. Improve literacy. Literacy rate is high. Improve modern healthcare facilities. But socially, the society is individualistic. And the society is equally heterogeneous. Society is individualistic and what? As well as what? It's heterogeneous. In the first one, we said that society in the Jason-Sharp society is what? Is homogeneous, is communal. The Gestalt society is equally characterized by erosion in cultural values. You produce one ramp this morning.
Yes, sir.
You produce one ramp, take me back.
Sorry, sir. I didn't get that. That's why.
What I'm saying, yeah. What I'm saying in the sexual society is that it is a society that is characterized by improved modality. Everything the modern practices are introduced now. Improve road network, improve communication. All right. There's high literacy rate is high. All right. Use of technology is involved in that society. So computer technology is a major feature of that kind of society. All right. But we are saying that society too has poor moral values. That society too is characterized by individualism as against communalism. That society too is characterized by heterogeneity as against homogeneity. Okay, spellings. I'll post the correct spellings to you later. Some people are battling with the spelling. Yeah, get sharp. That's the correct one given by Muhammad. There, that's the correct one. Just say sharp. Somebody has posted the correct meaning. Spelling to you. Thank you very much. All right. So, where do you belong? Do you belong to the first or the second? The second society is now. Can you give me an example of second societies? This kind of society, just a sharp society. Can we say Lagos is a good example of sharp society? Can we say Abuja is an example of sharp society? All right. Ironically, most of the cities of the world are sharp in nature.
Yes, Prof. I was going to say that from the definition of from what you said, the characteristics of a Gesellschaft society, I'm likely not to, even though Abuja and Lagos will be heterogeneous, I would most likely not class them together. One is largely individualistic, and another is seemingly not. I might class Lagos as individualistic, but then Abuja as not.
Okay, you're talking now. So go ahead and explain to us. Go ahead and explain to us.
Okay, I would. If you, what's coming to my mind now, the heterogeneity of the place, largely speaking, even with in Abuja, for instance, people would ordinarily assume that Hausa language is commonly spoken here, but I think it's not the case. English, perhaps, is the one that brings everybody together. But in Lagos, it is largely Yoruba language.
Okay, you are getting it wrong, my friend. You are getting the concept of individualism wrong.
Okay, thank you, Prof.
Because you didn't define that individualistic culture well.
Okay.
Maybe that's where you are being on a very wrong premise. Your logical.
My logic My logic is upside down.
Yeah, it's on the wrong premise.
Prof, I disagree with him that Lagos is largely urban. Lagos is highly cosmopolitan and can be seen to be a reflection of Nigeria.
Now,
I think
let me explain the concept. Let me explain this concept to you. What we say in society is individualistic. It's to your house to attend all Israel. Everybody is fighting for himself. You care less about other people. When you wake up in the morning, some of you did not even find out how your neighbors slept. Some of you did not even know whether your neighbors ate or they slept with hunger. When you go to the hospital now, it's for you only. You don't know whether somebody is able to pay his bills or not. So it's about you, and the closer people is your family. But in a gaming shop society, it is not like that. Somebody can bring food and distribute it, so they can bring their labor together and undertake community development. They can pull their resources together and help somebody. Somebody who's dead in that community is a bereavement of the whole community. Somebody who's married to that community is a marriage of the whole community. You are married to a community. You are not married to one person. So you can see your neighbors, your relatives calling your wife our wife. Is that true?
It's true, Prof. It's true, Prof.
Good. Can we in Abuja, can we behave like this here in Abuja? When here in Abuja, even you have somebody wants to take it by hook or by crook. So there's highly individualistic posture in most Jesse Sharp societies. Now there's highly communal posture in gaming shop societies. Number two, there are several classes of gaming shop society too. So you have several classes of gaming shop society. But I've tried to give the broad categories using the German theory so as we can understand it better instead of going deep into looking at the subclasses. Now, if you take Abuja, you still have a gaming shop society here in Abuja. True or false?
True, sir. Very good.
You still have a gaming shop society here, right here in Abuja. Go to the villages there, you see them there. They don't have light, they don't have water, they don't have roads, no network. Yeah, that's it. That's why I decided to use this broad German theories, so that you can know you cannot say this one belongs to this class, this one belongs to this class, instead of digging into the anthropological and sociological perspectives. Because our role as thinkers is to look at the gaps and see how to close the gaps. All right?
Right.
So
right,
these two categories.
Thank you so much.
These two categories of societies, the gaming shop and the Ghetto shop, have their own merits and demerits. But that of the gaming shop is highly underdeveloped. Is a problem, challenge of underdevelopment. The Ghetto shop is developed, but lack in what we normally call as cultural norms and social practices are very because that's why you have high crime. That's why you have all these things now. They want making our climate to be our enemy now. I don't know what. Gas emission, truck emission, and so on. All those emissions we do, even in urban areas, they are causing problems, climatic problems. So even those in the villages, is not true. So there are challenges associated with Gesell Sharp societies. There are challenges associated with gaming sharp societies. So, your role now is to look at the gaps created, the gaps of challenges created in Gesell Sharp societies and the gaps of challenges created in the gaming sharp society. How can you bridge it? So there are even challenges here, even Abuja, even Lagos, other places, big cities of Nigeria and of the world. So how do you close the gaps as thinkers? That's the point we're trying to say. Now, the rural overdrift is a great challenge, isn't it? That is a nexus that the gaming societies have become a push factor, and the Gesell societies have become what? Receiving factor, isn't it? So, the extent to which the gaming society is a push factor of labor and migration, and then the Gesell society becoming a receiving factor of labor and migration becomes a challenge because the facilities in the urban areas and the Gesell societies are overstretched because of the push from gaming society to the Gesell society. So all of these are issues for you. Begin to ponder and see what do you do. Now, Jesus Nyerere tried to do something like that when he was president of Nigeria. As a brother, he introduced that issue. Well, maybe that issue will come. We'll discuss more about Jesus Nyerere. We will come to political thoughts. But I will just mention this in passing. Jesus Nyerere created what we call the Ujamaa villages. In other words, I don't know whether most of you who did social sciences have read some of these things. He created the Ujamaa villages. We'll talk about the Ujamaa villages when we come to politics, political thinking. Now, what he did was to make sure that these villages are groomed along their value systems and their mode of production. Instead of bringing tractors to them, Jesus Nyerere said, my people are not ready for the tractors, but we are ready for the boom. In other words, he brought in development that will suit the pattern of that society. But he introduced the bull, so people were using the cattle to captivate their lands, and they were owning it. Now he strengthened the system of communalism in most Tanzanian villages, so that they can use those value systems, galvanize their values to enhance their production and improve their lifestyle. You can do something like that in a small way among your community. So use the value system, capitalize on the value system and drive it for production or improve lifestyle. That's the point we're trying to put across to you. Correct? Any questions so far about the Gesell society? Gesell society, any question? Daniel?
No question, sir.
Good. Can we move further? Can we now move further?
Sir, please, the spelling of the Nyerere society.
Pardon?
The spelling of the societies in Tanzania, sir, by Julius.
The spelling of what?
The society by Julius Nyerere in Tanzania.
Julius Nyerere. Ujamaa societies. That's UJAMAA. Ujamaa.
Thank you, sir.
So for
Ujamaa. Are you there?
Sir, I think for me,
Ujamaa. Pardon?
Yes, sir. I said for me, I'm looking at the two classifications, and then you mentioned that each has its merits and demerits. And so it only goes to say that there's no one. I mean, there's no one of those classification that is bad. There's no one that is good. I think it's a little bit of here and a little bit of get a little bit of what you can do in the first classification, and then what's again, because you talked about individualistic, which of course, if you take the setting like we have in Abuja, where you have a neighbor not even knowing his neighbor for 6 months or even 1 year. And so that brings me to the first classification to say that there are a lot of things that are happening in some of these societies that for them is good. If you take the Kambari society in Kebbi State, we still have them. We still have them where come to the market. They live in the hills, and so market days they come around with their leathers around their waist. The women with their breasts out, and that is how they come. And there has been several interventions by different students, scholars, philosophers, and everything to change that, but these guys have refused. And so the question would be that in the first instance, if you take the Gemi shaft, if you have something that is working for that society, no matter how primitive you think as a philosopher, if it's working for them, I think we should let it be, so that we're not forcing that change if it is really, really working for them and that is what they want. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, in fact, what we are saying is that look at their pattern of life. Look at their value. What connects, what makes society is the shared values. Am I right? Look at those values. Can those values be recognized? Can those values be remodeled? So that the thinking will be to bring about good life, improve life. Bring about good life. That's what we're saying. That's what we're trying to put across. So it's not about just condemning every value, every practice, everything to say that because you are learners, you feel that this is not be done, this is not be done. No, look at it and see how you can remodel it and channel it to improve life. The whole idea is for you to improve life. Okay? Okay, moving forward. I have for about 20 minutes now. I want us to look at the issue of politics and the state of nature. Politics and the state of nature. Politics and the state of nature. Now, in political philosophy, when we say state of nature, it's actually not a reality. So, because you cannot say, you cannot call the Jewish society as a state of nature. Neither can you say the Gestalt society is a state of nature. Can you do that? They are not state of nature. Now, when we're talking of hypothetically, we're talking of state of nature, we are saying that a state, a society that existed before the institutionalization of formal governance system. Now, let's take Nigeria. Before we have Nigerian government, whether colonial government or whether post-colonial government, Nigeria existed, is it not so? Nigeria existed. So how is the state of nature in Nigeria before then? And I know that every society had her own set of governance. So what are the major characteristics of the state of governance before in the pre-colonial era? What are the major characteristics? Now, in the pre-colonial era, the state of nature is saying that people fight for what they have. People fight for what they have. And people struggle for what they have to obtain what they have. I will give you an example now. Chepe tried to paint a picture of the state of nature when he said that in those days, that's colonial era now, women were gotten by those who deserve it. Is it all right? When men were men and women were gotten by those who do what? Who deserve it. That's a classical picture of the state of nature we're talking of here. That is all against all. That's what Plato said now. All against what? All. It's a theory of all against all. So if you are very powerful, you can acquire all the women that you need. Because there's no law binding you. So a state of nature has no institutionalized legal system. It has no institutionalized law. It has no, but then you are guided by what? By nature. So what philosophers like Aristotle, Thomas Hobbes, and so we are trying to paint the picture is that, look, a state of nature exists where there is no formal governance structure, where there's no leadership structure. All against all. That's what he said. Can you discuss that concept? What do you mean by all against all? Usman.
Yes, sir. I think
what is all against all?
All against all in the state of nature, as described maybe by Hobbes, is a society where might is right, and that yes. You can get anything if you have your way. I think if I remember the theory, he described life under it as brutish, short, and nasty before the formalization of official institutions.
Yes.
It was a society before, like you said, formalization, Prof. Brute is,
yes.
And coercion was definitely an instrument. If you have a way, you can gather everything. And I think that was why feudal lords at that time can have number of wives that you may not even count their numbers around him, because they have the power and the resources to conquer and put them around him, among other things.
All right. So the state of nature is saying that in that society, individuals act according to what? According to the individual's interests and desires. I think we can now call it a lawless society. Can we say that? Can we look at the state of nature as a lawless society, where people behave anyhow, so long as you have your might, you can have your way. When Plato was trying to say that all against all, he actually tried to say that if I see you with a beautiful wife, I use my strength to collect the wife. I take her to my house, no problems. If I see you having a very good farm, I can use my strength to collect your farm and go with it. So we live in a world called, sometimes we call it Banana Republic, all right?
Or animal farm. Or animal farm, sir. Animal farm.
Animal. Uh-huh. So, you know, Now, sorry, it was not Plato that was saying all against all. It was actually Thomas Hobbes. Thomas Hobbes was the one that brought up the theory of all against all, where life is solitary, poor, nasty, and brutish. All against all. So we are about 40 something in the class now. We see in Kiruka with a good car. All of us now can rally around and collect the car from her. And you that collect the car, you are not even safe. Others will now rally around against all, they'll come against you again, including in Kiruka, whose car will be snatched. Why? Because there's no law. Sorry. All because there's no law. So there are these characteristics. We have about 3 major characteristics of the law of nature. 1, absence of authority. There is no authority. The state of nature, there is no central authority or government to enforce it, to regulate our behavior. That's one major characteristic of law of nature, a hypothetical law of nature. There is no coordinating power or governance architecture. No coordinating governance architecture. Number 2, the state of nature rests squarely on individual progress. The state of nature rests purely on individual what? Progress.
Rest on individual what, sir?
Progress, power.
Okay, power.
So it is your individual will that strives. Number 3, the state of nature is characterized by disorderliness. In other words, there's no orderliness in that society. Number 4, the state of nature has no central defense system. Has no central defense system. The state of nature has no central defense system. However, John Locke says that the state of nature is always peaceful because they are always in touch with nature. However, John Locke opined that the state of nature is always peaceful because individuals are always attached to nature.
Sir, I'm wondering why. Sir, I'm wondering why to be peaceful. If you snatch my wife, there can't be peace. So I'm wondering how this.
You have no power. You have no power. You have no power now. So you go and arrest now. You submit now. Will you go? Do you have the power to go and retaliate? So you only wait for somebody who has superpower to come over and take over, not to give you even for himself. But that is what the angle John Locke was trying to look at. John Locke was trying to look at the relationship between the individual and the environment. You get the point?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, John Locke was looking at the relationship between the individual and the environment, and he said that the individual was taking good care of his environment. There was no deforestation, there is no bush burning, and so on and so forth. Because the individual could tame the environment so that the president can produce more fruits for him. The only problem is that the ownership of the environment has no control. But he was living peacefully with his environment. And he guides the environment jealously because that's the only asset he has. All right? In fact, John Locke was equally supported by J.J. Rousseau, who said that in a state of nature, the individual lives at peace with his environment. And so you can see another philosopher backing John Locke. All right? So he believed that J.J. Rousseau was saying that in fact the institutionalization of governance that brought about corruption and erosion of the quality of the environment. I don't know whether it's true or not. So it's left for you to argue at now.
Brought up about corruption and what, Prof?
And erosion of environment, quality of environment.
Okay.
To what extent that is true? Because he said that it is the institutionalization of governance, architect, formal government that brought about the reduction in the quality of the environment and corruption. State of nature is associated by disorderliness. I didn't say orderliness. Disorderliness. Somebody, let me correct somebody there.
So, sir, is it characterized by disorderliness or orderliness?
Yes. Pardon?
Is it characterized by disorderliness or did you say orderliness?
Disorderliness.
Orderliness, okay.
Disorderliness. All right. Any question about the state of nature? Are you
Sorry, Prof. I didn't get you right. Hello, Prof.
Hello, Nkiruka.
Sir, you said the state of nature is characterized by, is it orderliness or disorderliness?
Disorderliness.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The question I'm asking, do we go back to the state of nature and live in the era where Children said, when men were men and women are only gotten by those who deserve it?
Hello, sir.
Go ahead.
Sir. Sorry, sir, I didn't get the characteristics number 1.
You didn't get characteristic number 1.
Yes, sir.
Individualism.
Yes, sir.
I think it's absence of
What is it?
authorities.
Absence of authority.
Okay.
No
Okay, sir.
coordinating government architecture.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So that is I'm painting the picture of the state of nature to underline the fact that that there will be a need for us to have a central government, or don't we? Do we need a central government, a coordinating government, or we don't need? It's a question that I now for you to begin to think around. State of nature versus formal governance architecture. Which one? Do we go back to the olden days of the state of nature, or we should continue with our government?
I think partially some of these things are happening even in the big cities, mega cities. For instance, you take Lagos, and then you find one area where you have some area godfathers, and so those area godfathers, people pay homage to them. You have to pay some fees. If you're buying a land, you can't even start a building. You have to. So even though we have a system, we have a government, we still have these structures there where you have to pay to even use common services within the community. Like you have to pay for your security, you have to pay to drive out, you have to pay to come. If you're buying a land, you have to pay them extra monies. And of course, you know what that means. The bigger area boy always gets what he wants, including even people's children, the daughters and everything. So I think it's still happening to some extent, even where we have systems in place and government in place.
All right. So we explore that one in our next class. So in our next class, we begin to look at politics and governance. But apparently, we're trying to look at the society now, at the state of nature in that society. Should society remain under the state of nature, a hypothetical state of nature, or should society have a governance architecture in place? So again, we look at that one alongside some theories of Aristotle, theories of Thomas Hobbes, theories of Frederick Engels, and so on. We look at those words. All right. So if there's no question now, I will draw the curtain for this lecture so that we allow you to prepare for other lectures or other activities. It's about 10 o'clock now. Daniel, you ask the question. Peter's ego. Peter, you're asking the question. Go ahead. Peter. All right, you see he's cut off somewhere with the state of nature somewhere. All right.
Sorry, Prof.
Yes.
Thanks so much for this wonderful lecture, sir. I just wanted to ask lighter note, sir. Why the reason being we are using the German classification of society? Is there anything unique about the Germans, sir? I just wanted to know, sir.
Yeah, it's on the opium, is within the opium of the lecturer. My justification is this. As I said, the German classification gives us the broad outlines. Now, within these classifications, there are sub-classifications. There are some classifications, there are some theories that bring out about 6 classifications. Now, I didn't want to boggle with that one, but the German model classified into 2 broad ones, so that to give you better understanding, because most of you are just beginners, so it's for you to understand better. So it's for you just to classify it using the German model. That's all I did, so that you can understand it from that perspective, these 2 perspectives. Okay. And that model apparently can be domesticated in Nigeria, so you can see Nigerian society clearly. That's why I adopted that one. Yeah. So it's within the purview of the lecturer, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yakubu Dati.
Yes, thank you, sir. Prof.
Yes, sir.
Just as a follow-up to the last question, I know that most philosophical thoughts have their, like for us that have background in literature, we hear more from the Greek, not from the German. So I wonder why there is no, well, I'm learning something new. Since the Germans are coming and no longer the Greeks that we are taught in literature.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So there are so many theories. I don't want to boggle with some of these things because the whole aim is for you to have insight into societies and see how you can create whether the gap there, how you can come in and close the gap. That's all. That's our major objective. The focus is apparently going to pin down the gaps in the society and see how you can close the gap. So that is it now, in that order. I'm ending my class with 46 members in attendance, and I want to appreciate you for the regulars that have been here. Please keep it up. Do your best. Do your best. Do your best, because anything that's worth doing is worth doing better, isn't it? So I'm interested in your attendance and yes, because I want to learn from you too. Many of you have raised some issues that have apparently reaching my back, my academic back too. So I thank you most sincerely for coming. Please keep a date against it. Somebody asked a question, what about this attendance issue? What are those who started? Those who started, you start from where you start now. You understand?
Hello, Prof.
So if you zoom today, you start counting.
Hello, Prof. Please, where you said that the society is characterized by communication in raw value. That you said there's something you mentioned that I didn't get. That it is characterized by what that is against something.
I can't remember.
I can't remember
my dear. Later you can call me.
That is under. Okay, but I'm talking under Jesseshap Society.
Yeah, I said. When I said that,
improve communication
and technology.
Okay. Improve communication and technology.
That's Jesseshap.
Yes, sir.
And okay. So let's call it a day now.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Do your best to add value to society. That's all we're trying to appeal to all of us.
All right, sir.
We will do just that.
Thank you, sir.
At this level of our life.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And to equally say that we are willing to partner with you if you have any community project you want us to come along with you to help you carry it out, please. And we can actually lay together and see how we can help out to your local community. It's very, very interesting, very nice that way. You must leave legacies behind. Yeah, what you leave behind is not your certificate. Yeah, it's what is the value you add to your community that will speak for you. So that's how we're there. So Taiwo, Ajao, BC, you want to find out some questions?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Pardon?
Yesterday, sir, on advanced global conference, resolution studies, sir. I was on but I learned that you gave them assignments, sir.
Okay, I think there's one. Find from the class captain. Find from the class captain.
Okay. I thought it's an individual assignment.
Yeah, individual assignment, but I think the class captain has all the lists.
Okay, I was going to ask the same question.
All right, thank you very much.
But Prof, sorry, can I ask a question?
Let me hear. Taiwo was trying to say something.
Okay.
No, I said it already, sir.
Oh, good. So, Chup.
Okay. Prof, you when you were speaking, you said something about the attendance, and you said about 46 persons were on.
Yes.
But from what I could see, there were about almost 60 actually.
Don't worry.
So
Don't worry. Somebody is taking that. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. The attendance being well taken. No problem. Just know that you are there.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Prof.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Are you just joining, or you've been in the class?
No, I've been here since.
So, which project are we implementing in your community?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. Probably the next class I will.
All right. So that will be we apparently I'm trying to group some people to do some projects in the community.
All right, Prof.
We'll discuss that one after looking at some of our next class, which is governance and politics.
All right, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. On Monday, I will send Joshua with our letter to bring to you.
Okay, no problem, sir.
Thank you very much. You'll be around, right?
I'll be around, sir.
Good. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Yaku, are we going to Mikan to go and execute the project?
Yes, I saw that APT invited, you had some guests in APT.
Pardon?
I saw from the Facebook that you hosted some international organization.
Yes.
So I think that is quite commendable. And sometimes it is also beneficial for the class.
Yeah, some of your projects apparently may have bearing on that. So when you have projects, we can liaise with some of them. Some of these our international partners.
Okay.
Now it is interesting to know that those international organizations, 3 of the members were our students and are working with them. So they actually drove the push for the program here in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I hope when there is a return visit, you will consider also to go to Germany.
Yeah, we are going there. We are going there in August.
Okay.
We are going to Canada in August. I hope you'll be part of it.
I look forward to it, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Dasser will sponsor our trip and all the class. About how many students? All of us will carry ourselves to Canada.
Really?
That will be interesting.
We are eager to do that, sir.
We can organize that international tour.
Don't worry, we'll do that. Okay, please, I have another class now. Let me vacate and allow you to have another class.
Thank you.
Have a good day, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So if the volume no problem, sir. What can say the volume? No problem, sir. I'm okay. Okay, thank you, sir. I'm it's done. Ó sọ̀rọ̀ síta ètò wá volume torí ó ti wà ní ti volume tí òǹgbẹ́gbẹ́.
What's this? What's this there? Board. What kind of board?
Swimming board.
Why did he give you board? Is board necessary?
Yes.
Have you been using both before?
Yes.
You are sure?
Yes.